Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Thursday, August the 22nd, 2024, and today's topic is sketching clothes. And I'm going to put character design process. And I'm going to put links to a couple of videos. So one will be this video from last month, where we talked about thumbnailing characters. It was a quick way to generate different character designs, potential character designs. And then there was another video where we took the small thumbnail here and made basically a bigger thumbnail, but a sketch. And so this will be a continuation of that. And I'm going to do this character because since this week we're talking about sketching clothes and folds and wrinkles and fabric and everything, I feel like this one kind of has a lot of things like that I can go over. Alright, so yeah, I printed this out from the sketchbook. So that's what I'm going to be working off of. So let's begin. So to start off with, see, I'll just put this under here. I'm going to use a mechanical pencil, and I'm going to be using the method that I'll just start sketching to. Actually, let me start a 5-minute timer. So I've started a timer. To begin with, I'll be using the methods that we've been going over all this time. And one thing that's good about that is you can redraw the characters and they'll look consistent because there's a methodology to it. So one thing is I can fit, I'm just going to use my sketchbook, but I can fit the character. Maybe I'll put this on the table here. Maybe that'll be better. But yeah, basically I create a top point and bottom point, and then I know that I can fit the character in here. So then the midpoint is there, and if you want to be a little bit more precise, use some kind of measuring device. So, see, like that's a little bit short, so I'm gonna lower it a little. So that's half. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna draw this thumbnail, this sketch, and I'm gonna keep it sketchy, but the final product will be a drawing. And at this point right here, it's really an idea, and it's not really a character per se. And then we'll go through the process of how to make it into a character. But to begin with, I'm gonna again use all the methods that we went over and keep it loose, keeping sort of the proportions here, and loosely sketching the figure. But since it's pretty much covered up, I'm not going to spend too much time. Also use the gesture drawing. I have videos about gesture drawing in the figure drawing playlist. But by doing it this way, your proportions will be correct, and you're also using your own ideas as reference. So as you develop the character, it will be more original. And the way I like to design characters is this way, where most of it is coming from my imagination, and I'm using drawing as a way to make a statement, like I'm wanting to say something. So in the video I made about portrait drawing, the Sean Connery portrait, that one you can bring your own style into it, but then it's like more like a study, and that's good too. But this one is a character design, so that's 5 minutes. Start another timer. So if you're going for realism, you're not really going for photorealism. You're wanting to bring the character to life by using realism. So for example, you're looking at these shapes that you find interesting, which is the silhouette, and then you're going to think, what's going on? You're going to explain more of what's going on. So for example, right here, I know he's going to have a sword. And my main thing is I like the silhouette, so I'm going to if I'm going to do the work of designing, I'm going to do it like this in the rough sketch. And not so much here. I'd rather figure it out in this stage, or like in this stage. By the time I get here and then I'm doing this, I'm just gonna draw it. And then if I make changes, it will be off of the design and the shading of it. So because I'm keeping it loose and and lightly sketching, I can again use all the figure drawing and gesture drawing methods, knowing that a lot of this will be covered up, but what makes clothing work is the figure. That's what will make it look more realistic. Now, if I'm going to color this, which I probably will at some point, I'm going to put it into Photoshop or some other paint program. And that's really how I use digital art. So let's check this out. The pose is similar. I mean, it's the same character. So now, again, still using a pencil, I'll go over the clothing part. And I wanted to use this because, like I said, it has a lot of different things I could go over, like a hat, for example. So I think now I'll just make it a little bit higher up, so it's a little bit easier to sketch that way. Okay, so I like to sketch as much out of my head as possible, and then if I'm gonna do studies, like let's say I'm not sure how to draw hats, then I'll do studies on how to draw hats, and I'll do it from reference, and then I'll switch to doing it from what I remember, and that's how I study. But then if I'm at this character design process, I want most of it to come out of my imagination, because a character isn't really, there's so many ways you can make a character. I mean, you can make a really cartoony character or a realistic character, and there's an art to character design. So that's 5 minutes. I'll start another one. So with that being said, you do want to have a loose sketch for the hat, and then think about the perspective. So if I'm looking at this character, I like the basic idea of this, but then we're going to figure out what exactly is going on. So for example, the brim of the hat is coming down, and you want to figure out how far. And it's not quite a cowboy hat, but similar. And then of course think about the form that's inside here. And so what I'm going to do is keep it pretty light in case I want to, well, it's not even in case, I know I'm going to just kind of look up some pictures of hats, and then I'll make adjustments, but my idea will be the main thing. So then the next thing is, so the cloak. So you have this outside shape, which we went over. So I want to keep that. So I'll start to sketch this in, but then I'll think about going back to the idea of the wrinkles and everything. I'm going to think about how it's hanging off of the figure. So I'm going to give it, I'll give it a hood, but depending on the material, it has different looks to it. And then figure out how it's clasped on here. And then you can use a kneaded eraser to get rid of some of your construction lines. So yeah, it's about using your own sketch as the reference and then figuring out, okay, like that will probably be part of his clothes, his tunic or jacket or something. As far as like folds and wrinkles, like cloaks tend to have this where it comes from the shoulder, the gravity. So maybe this part is, so I'll put like I'll keep his cloak simple, as if he has it tied right here. And then this front part could be kind of open. And that's why you get maybe this staggered look here. I mean, a cloak is kind of similar to a curtain as far as drawing. So yeah, use simple shapes. That way you can come up with an interesting design for a character, because you're not trying to draw a real person, you're wanting to design a character. So this part is kind of in the back here. So just think about the stagger of the fabric. Again, it's like it's like that, the simple shapes. So keep it loose and then keep it simple. Interpret what your sketch is telling you. For example, I'm going to put part of the cloak behind the sword because I want to show the sword, and also the logic behind it. Like, this is, the cloak is opening right here. You might even want to cover the sword a little bit and think about the overlap of the shapes, because that's going to explain the clothes. Let's zoom out a little bit. I didn't start a timer, but maybe that was about 5 minutes. I'm going to do one more 5 minute to keep the video not too long. And in these last 5 minutes, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Just make this this sketch, the bigger sketch, look a little bit more like the smaller one. And erase whatever you need to, but draw very lightly. Don't dig into the paper. Also, I'll begin to draw the features more of the face. It seems like I would see underneath the hat a little bit more here, going back to the how to draw the hat. Seems like you would see the brim coming down and then some of the underneath here. So don't commit to any, don't start to like darken the drawing until you are pretty happy with the design of it. Basically, you're giving yourself a way out without overworking. Show some of the sword. But that's the basic process. I'm gonna keep working on this and show the progress, talk about it some more. I feel like at this point, then I can look up some ideas and still keep my original character idea. And so yeah, that's a character design process. yeah, at this point I can add more. Like here, I don't really worry about the face or anything. So hopefully that helps you out. I mean, you can use this not just for character design, but just drawing a person. But yeah, before I sign off, thank you for supporting the channel, and until next time, keep on sketching.